I've been an iPhone user for years now.
Apple fanboy!
But Apple really is worse than Android. Let me explain. Welcome back, tech heads. Blake here. So I've really been contemplating lately switching from my iPhone to an Android phone that I really like. Actually to this Oneplus 7 Pro that I have, which I honestly like a lot more. But it's really hard to move away from iPhone. For many reasons I'll explain later on in the video. And so many of my friends are anti-Android for some weird reason. So with so many things that Android has to offer over iPhone, I've come up with 5 that are pretty hard to ignore. And now my challenge is trying to convince you why I'm right here. And if I'm not right, then you can go ahead and tell me below and, I don't know, make fun of me. I don't care. Because if I can convince you that I'm right, then I can probably convince everybody else in my life who owns an iPhone that I'm probably right as well. And I'll make the switch. Customization. The nice thing about Android is I can literally place apps wherever I want to on the page, which even makes it easier to reach apps in general without finger strain. But it doesn't stop there. You can even install multiple options of launchers to change your phone completely. But Blake, what the heck is a launcher? Well, by default, your phone, Apple or Android, has a default layout with default colors and default looks. That's a lot of defaults. With launchers, you are able to completely change the way your Android functions, change the colors of pretty much anything, and even find multiple icon packs to choose from. There's lots to choose from, literally. And yes, I know Apple has somewhat allowed some customization with their phones. But the amount of work needed to customize your iPhone is way harder than it is on Android. And you could also just go ahead and jailbreak your iPhone, which just means hacking into it essentially. But that comes with a lot of dangerous risks, not to mention how difficult it is. Speaking of difficult, another thing Apple makes really difficult is when it comes to their apps. You know, apps from iPhone are really simple. You go to the App Store, you choose an app, then you download it. That's good, right? Well, no. You deserve more. For starters, the Google Play Store has way more applications to choose from. Not only that, but the amount of free apps on Apple are way less than Android. But here is where Android crushes Apple. On Apple, if you want a paid app, you have to go and just buy it. There's no way around it. And money just adds up, especially if you're broke, like me. But on Android, you can go ahead and sideload literally almost every app out there. Well, what does that mean? Well, Android apps are just APKs, and you can literally go on your browser and Google what APK you want, download and install, and boom! Now you have that app, and now you have some coffee money. But speaking of so many options for applications, Android has many other options for other things as well. Let's talk about unlock features. And I think you'd all agree that the biggest flop that Apple refuses to acknowledge is Face ID. Not that Face ID is bad per se, there's just nothing wrong with Touch ID, which if you ask me is way more convenient than Face ID. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Unless you're Apple, of course, and then you just break it more, I guess. With Android, pretty much all of them have the option for fingerprint recognition somewhere on the phone, even under the screen. And they even give you facial recognition as well. Look, I'm just saying options are better. Which leads me to my next point. Hardware. With Apple, you get, well, the iPhone. And with each upgrade, you get, well, an iPhone. I bought this iPhone 12 Pro a couple months ago for about 200 bucks off my good friend. This thing is still worth like $1,000 as it sits right now. I kind of feel like I robbed him, but I mean, it worked out for me. So I bought this thinking, oh man, this is gonna make a huge difference. Well, no. So I went from my iPhone 10 to this iPhone 12 Pro, and I've noticed almost no big real difference, besides the cameras, which I do not care about. But with Android, the options are endless. I can choose Samsung, Google, Oneplus, and many other options as well, with all different sizes, materials, and features. Like, upgrading with Android feels like an actual upgrade and not just like a lateral move like iPhone feels. But here's the most important feature in a smartphone. Cameras! I'm just kidding. Look, I honestly do not care about cameras in a smartphone at all. Look, cameras in smartphones these days are pretty much all amazing, so stop being picky. You just take pictures of food for Instagram. But I mean, you know, what do I know? Because I just drive a Zamboni for a living, so. So the last reason, price. Now, I may have gotten a really good deal on this iPhone, but if you're looking to buy one brand new, you're selling your organs to afford it. Well, not those kinds of organs, but you know what I mean. And yes, I know Androids can be just as expensive as what iPhones are. But again, price options. There's a lot of really great Samsung, where is it? Almost forgot them. There's a lot of really great budget smartphones like these Samsung phones my parents had. Like, there's nothing wrong with these phones, and they're like a quarter of the price of what iPhones are. So I know what you're saying. Well, if you love Android so much, why don't you just switch already? Well, it's not that simple, and I explain every reason why in this video right here.